Baby, give me your number. I'll call you over, make you feel alright. It's a simple, sweet little line, but I sang it, and the very next day I was offered a record deal with Universal Records. Grab a cup of tea, bam, for a visual effect. Come join me, let's talk. I'm going to explain to you why it's just as important to have a reliable voice as it is to have a beautiful voice.
Baby, baby, be my boyfriend.
Okay, so back in the day when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore, but some days, sorry, I couldn't resist. Comment in the comment section if you know that song. Anyway, back in the day when I was about 19 years old, how can I make this short? I coached an artist named Emmanuel Burke. Emmanuel Burke was a brilliantly, stupidly talented artist who played keyboards for like Babyface and Layla Hathaway and sang background for Lettuce. He did a whole bunch of ridiculous stuff. I've mentioned him on my blogs before, my How I Learned to Sing series, and he kind of was, perhaps I can credit him with helping me start my vocal coach career, because after I began coaching him, he hooked me up with a bunch of other artists. One of the artists that I worked with had like a developmental deal with Universal Records. So now, as a vocal coach, while I was a music student who had just started as a vocal coach, it wasn't like my super profession at this point, but things had kind of been rolling. Again, if you want to know more, click on the link in the info box and you can read my whole story or whatever. But basically, I had started coaching an artist who had some vocal damage. And so my job was to help restore her voice in time for some auditions and some performances. And what happened was, it got to a point where she ended up having me coach her while she began her tour. Now, this is the point that applies to you. It's coming up. Hold on. So what happened was, we're in a voice lesson during her rehearsal. There's entourage around, there's like managers, there's background dancers, random people, and we're at the piano, we're going through stuff. And she had a song, and that was a solo song, and she says, you know, Eric, I just think that this would sound better with a male voice on it. Just sing this part for me real quick, just so I can get a feel for how it goes. And I'm like, ugh. And there's a room full of people, my heart's racing, and I go, okay, baby, give me your number, da, 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 da. You know, whatever. And I'm singing it, and she's like, oh, like pleasantly surprised expression on her face. And I'm happy that she's happy, and I don't really think much of it. But the next day, I get a call from her people telling me that they want to offer me a deal with Universal Records. Now, to make a long story short, it didn't work out because of my experience with Hurricane Katrina, and I'm really making a very long story short, but yeah, super condensed version. But basically, I went through a phase right after Katrina, wasn't sure if I even wanted to sing anymore, and I was angry at life and blah blah blah. But the point is, I was offered this deal. Even more to the point, I was offered 2 major label record deals by the time I was 22. And if you want to know what happened for the second deal, click on the link somewhere in here. It's a pretty funny story. And you can see a video parodied retelling of that. But my point is, a lot of my students and people who know me will say, like, how are you able to get those 2 offers? And it's not because I have the best voice in the world. There's no such thing. It's not because I have a magical gift that no one else has. Sounding good is very subjective. But I'm going to tell you the key to my success has been the fact that my voice is reliable as hell. My voice is so freaking reliable, it's not even funny. If I was ever asked to sing at any point, if you ask me to sing now, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or if you want me to, whatever, I don't know, that was random, but my point is, I will never go, look, hey, I know what I'm gonna say. This is the thing. I will do that. Any successful person will do that. This is what to the contrary, what I observe most people do as vocalists, as aspiring professional vocalists, is this. Okay, so we're at like a shindig or a soiree or some kind of party with industry types or whatever. And there's a guy who wants to be a singer so bad, you know, the cliche. And he runs into some producers or some managers or whatever, fill in the blank, people of importance who say, oh, you're a singer, huh? He goes, yeah, I want to do it more than anything. And they say, sing something for me. This is what I typically have watched my whole life as a fellow artist and as a vocal coach. I've seen singers do this 1 billion and 5 times. They go, oh man, well I'm sick, it's kind of loud in here, and the weather, sinuses, sinuses, so I can't really, and they make excuses, and bam, across their head, stamped, reads amateur, and they dismiss you. I'm gonna tell you, it's so powerfully disarming when someone says, sing something, and you go, okay, yeah, don't do that. But when you just sing and you go right for it and you just start to sing, okay, whatever, when you just start to sing and you do it, they're like, oh snap. So in my situation, the moral of my story is, I wanted to choke up. A big part of me did, but I was like, you know what? I've trained for this. Baby, ba da 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 da, and I just start singing. Da. Insert Mariah hand there. Anyway, point is, that's advanced technique. You got to be careful because it can result in an eye injury if if you go too crazy with the, Anyway, seriously though, what helped me out was that you never know who's listening. At that time, I didn't think, oh, I'm going to be offered a record deal. All I knew was I was asked to sing. When you are asked to sing, sing. When someone tells you to sing, sing. But be ready to sing. That will help to ensure your success. It seems so simple, but trust me, I know you. I've worked with thousands of singers at this point. People ask you to sing and you go, or worse, you're bold as hell and you do sing and you sound crazy. So either way, I get so tired of people telling me, it's so hard, it's so hard. No, it's not. It's not hard to be heard. The hard part is being prepared. It's all about preparedness. Are you ready? I see some of you guys, the ones who, it's funny, people who have the ability, who are ready, who are on point, don't have the confidence. And people who randomly, inexplicably have great amounts of confidence aren't as ready as they think they are. The key is to be ready, get your training, and be confident in your voice. Your instrument is a biological instrument. It is subject to weather, stress, sleep, or lack thereof. It's subject to what you eat. It's subject to how you feel. It's strongly subject to the fight or flight response. Why can't I talk today, damn it? It's subject to all of these things. So that being said, your instrument is also a resilient one. You're probably never gonna feel 100%. There was an opera singer I heard who said, you're never gonna be in your best voice when it really counts. You're in your best voice when it's like a random Thursday night and you're doing laundry or something like that. That's when you're in your best voice. It's never when you're at Carnegie Hall or when you have that big audition or that huge performance. You're never gonna be judged on your best singing. You're gonna be judged on your average singing. The important thing is to make your average singing as great as possible. And that has everything to do with training and preparedness. If you click on the link to aapproach.tumblr.com, I give you free advice. It's free. It's free. It's for free. That's if you ever watch Bridesmaids, when she got the tattoo, it's for free. And anyway, okay, I digress. Go to aapproach.tumblr.com and I have some advice for you on things you can do to make your voice more reliable so that you can count on it. I don't want you praying for notes. And please, Lord, let me be able to sing this note right now. If someone asks you to sing, Marietta Little Lamb, you go for it. And don't you dare hesitate as long as you're ready. Be ready. We're done. Check out the blog, and I'll see you next time.